Hey, 2025 is going to be an amazing year, I believe, for wholesaling. Now, it could be the year that you make more money in the next 12 months than you've made in the last 12 years. It could be that if you're stuck trying to get your first set of deals done, then finally this could be your breakthrough year. However, there's three things that I believe that you have to make a priority for this year in order to make that happen. I'm going to lay these out for you here. Number one, lead generation, specifically online incoming leads. If you're not online, if you're not generating leads online, you're behind. You might be stuck cold calling, either yourself or you hire people to cold call. And you can see, and I hear this all the time from people, the results are diminishing. The amount of effort required in order to make cold calling work is tremendous. The volume of calls that needs to be made, the pain and suffering that you have to endure, because now you're talking with people that they're telling you, who are you? How'd you get my number? And then once you got past that, then the next thing is, okay, well, you make me an offer. You called me, and now you're down that rabbit hole. As opposed to a warm inbound lead. With a warm inbound lead, you're calling them and say, hey, this is Cris with National Property Buyer, Mr. Joe. You filled out a form online requesting a cash offer. Does that ring a bell? Yes. Okay, great. Well, I'd love to chat with you for a few minutes here, get some additional information and see if your property qualifies. You got a minute? And they say yes. And then off to the races you go. And that's as easy as that conversation. And then plus, rather than you spending hours and hours on the phone, the drudgery of calling people and just getting rejected, all you do is you set the ads up, and while you're doing something else, while I'm here, I could be in my pool right now in my bikini. I don't wear a bikini. I wear boxers, swim boxers. But I could be sitting here and the ads could be running in the background, and then people are filling out the form, and that's a beautiful thing. A lot of clients that we get onboarded with online leads, they're like, I think this is cheating, Chico. I used to work so hard with cold calling, and now the leads just come in. But you got to figure that out. Now, how can you figure that out? Number one is you can figure that out by hiring an agency. We also do that if you're interested, number one. Number two is you can learn how to do it yourself. We can also teach you how to do it yourself. We're the number one when it comes to teaching real estate investors how to run ads. And I'm talking about Facebook ads, TikTok ads, and Google ads. We run all platforms. Nobody else touches us when it comes to the sheer number of students and clients that we have that we've been able to help in this way. But those are the two options. And now the third option, which I'm going to do another video on, is doing a pay-per-lead company thing, which is you're buying leads from other companies, that they're generating the leads, and so now you just pay per lead. Now, you are overspending on that because the same lead that we buy for $20, you're paying $50, $100, $150. However, there's a new law that's coming in January that's going to affect the entire pay-per-lead industry, where if you're buying leads in bulk from these people, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. They cannot take a bunch of their leads and just sell them to you. And then now you're going to call the owner, and the owner has no idea of who you are because they never consented specifically to you reaching out to them. And then it's going to set up a bunch of lawsuits similar to what people have encountered with SMS marketing. I'll have to let me know if you want me to do another video about this. But, if you're getting leads right now from pay-per-lead companies, you need to figure out your own thing that you own in terms of a process. Either you're doing it or an agency doing it for you or whatever, that now you have full control of those leads coming in, and you are in control of your own destiny when it comes to that. So that's number one, online lead generation. Number two is underwriting. I get a lot of times investors that send me deals. We don't take deals outside of our partner program, so don't send me any deals. But sometimes people just send a deal and say, hey, Chico, I need help, please. I know this is the deal. Help me. If I could sell this deal, then I could join your program and my life would be so much easier. And then I look at the deal and I'm like, this ain't no deal. This has no chance of ever being a deal, ever. And the problem is I don't know how to underwrite deals. And by underwriting, I mean how to properly analyze a deal so that you know, okay, what is it worth? What do you need to buy it at in order to be legitimately a deal? And so you end up either negotiating the property incorrectly. So you think, oh, I have a buyer problem. I can't find buyers for my deals. You don't have a problem finding buyers. You have a problem in the fact that you're putting properties in the contract for way too much money. And in the end, nobody's ever gonna buy these deals from you because of that. And so underwriting is really one of those things that most people don't put the emphasis. And so how do you learn underwriting? I think that it's underwriting, I believe, is one of the more difficult things for you to learn in the business, honestly. And that is because there's so many variables that are surround that. Meaning that, the way that we teach underwriting in our programs is we give you training and tutorials in terms of so that we can establish a foundation. But then you need to consistently, every day, try to analyze deals and then get input. Hey, here's a deal that I'm looking at. I think it's worth this. I think I should offer this. And then you get somebody else's eyes on it and they tell you, yeah, that's perfect, go get it. Or they say, no, that's not a deal because of XYZ. And through that iteration, through that process of back and forth and reviewing so many deals over and over again, different scenarios, you start to get it. You start to understand what's a deal, what's not a deal. And at that point, then that's how you learn underwriting. But underwriting, you're never going to learn just by watching a course or attending a seminar. You know, if you don't have the liberty or you don't have the benefit of having somebody like me that we can go and look over your deals, then the only way you're going to learn is by putting properties on a contract that don't sell, and then you get input and you understand why it didn't sell, and then now you hopefully don't make that mistake again on the next go around. But you know, that's one of the other things that you need to get better at this year. And then the third item is you need to get better. And I've said this before, it's sounding better on the phone. I am not talking about scripts. Forget about scripts. Every script works. Every script works. What doesn't work is how you sound. And so a lot of you, again, sound like you ingested a bunch of NyQuil and you just woke up from a hangover and you got a sock in your mouth. Maybe all three, who knows? But when you don't sound well over the phone, then the seller's not going to feel comfortable with you. Seller is not going to feel confident that you can help solve the problem. And, you know, there's always competition on deals. It's very rarely that you're going to come up on a deal that nobody else has access to. Now, you can minimize that. So certainly you could be in a situation where maybe you have a deal that maybe there might be a couple investors that the seller might have spoken with versus, you know, 10 to 15 investors that are hounding this particular prospect. But at the end of the day, what's going to make the difference is really how you sound and how you build rapport. Now, how do you fix that? Number one is you have to. It's a combination of things. Number one is you have to record and listen to your calls and really critically analyze them and see how you sound. Do you sound like a person that has a tremendous amount of energy, that you come across in a way to the seller where you sound confident, you're not mumbling your words, you're not stumbling on your words. Now, in order to do that, you also have to learn your script. So whatever script you decide that you want to go and use, whatever that may be, there's a bunch of people out there with scripts. You should rehearse that script and you should know that script like the back of your hand so that when you talk to the property owner, now you can focus on your inflection. You're not thinking about what you're going to say next. You're confident about what you're going to say next because you know that script inside and out, and now you can work on how you sound. And that's the other part of the equation because, you know, at the end of the day, like those three things have to be in place. Now, the buyer side is easy to handle because at the end of the day, if you have a great deal, then even if you don't have a buyer's list, you can find somebody to help you. And there's other tools available to go out and find buyers. But that's not really the main issue. A lot of you say, oh, I get this a lot. Oh, Chico, I got to find buyers. So then that way, I can go ahead. The problem is buyers. I don't have a list of buyers. And so that's why, I can't go and be aggressive with my marketing. It's completely backwards. You don't need the buyers. The buyers you can always find. You need to find the deals. And again, the only way you're going to find the deals is you need a good source of leads. And I believe is that warm incoming leads are always the best. Number two is you need to learn how to underwrite because you could be losing deals either because you're overpaying and then now you have it on the contract, you piss off the seller because you weren't able to close, and then a guy like me comes in that knows what they're doing, they'll get the seller for the right price and we end up selling the deal. Or you could have a deal that you think it's not a deal, but we do deals in small towns all the times where you would think, oh, there's never a deal here, and next thing you know, we make 10, 15, 20 grand on a deal that doesn't appear to be a deal. So you might be losing out of those opportunities. And finally, also, of course, how you sound. Don't sound like you got a sock in your mouth. But if you want to know how we go out and find these motivated sellers, click on the video that'll appear here or there, and that way you can see how we go out and find motivated sellers online.